I don't think anyone I've seen people talk about this in regards to Purdy, and which is, don't you think it's relevant how his team feels about him? Because we've talked about this with Jimmy, right? Like they had such a problem getting away from Jimmy because the team believed in him, the starters believed in him, and all of that.
Yeah.
And now, if you're talking about a potential quarterback competition in the future, don't you think it'll be really
Yeah.
difficult to have a competition when the entire roster believes in this quarterback, right? Because you've
Yeah.
seen guys who have talked up Lance, like Ayuk, who's now
Yeah.
talking up Purdy,
Yeah. I
right?
agree. I agree.
So I don't think you can discount that. And like Purdy's every game he wins, every time he wins and plays well, he's earning the trust of his teammates,
Right.
and that's not something that
How do you
Lance
trump
has an
that
opportunity to
by
have.
with a
Like
good?
you
How do you
can't,
trump that with a good training camp or a good preseason? You can't.
you can't
You can't.
like Brock would have to literally probably throw like 25 interceptions in camp, and Lance would have to be awesome.
No, Brock
Like
is sewing this job up right now. Only way he gives it away is if he has like a Brian Hoyer playoff game where you're like, oh, okay, that's not the guy.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because right now he looks like the guy.
yes,
So
but I also do think that I don't think the Niners would move Lance without some sort of plan, because I think they're deathly scared of injuries at the quarterback position. I know,
right,
we know that Jimmy is injury
right,
prone, but it hasn't just been Jimmy that's gotten injured. There's been other
that's
quarterbacks
true.
too. So
But you can always get
um,
another backup quarterback. I just feel like at a certain point, Trey's not going to be happy with just being a backup quarterback in his third year. He needs to play, and if you believe in Brock and want him to be your starter, then Trey is a trade chip. I mean, he's a backup quarterback, but he's worth more to you as you can get a backup quarterback. He's a trade chip, and the longer you keep him on the bench and stunt his growth and don't let him play, I think the less he's worth. So the Niners got to figure that out. If they just see him as a backup quarterback for Brock moving forward, then you might get more out of him as to just trade him now, get
to
something, get a second round pick, and sign a guy, draft a guy, bring in two. I don't know,
fi- right, I
but
would
we're
say
getting ahead
figure
of
it out.
ourselves. But it's worth talking about.
Yeah. And I would say to that, figure it out earlier than later. So like you
Yeah,
don't wait for all the guys to get signed in free agency, all the decent backup quarterbacks to get signed in
right.
free agency, and then you're like left with like Nate Sudfeld.
You don't want that. No, but it seems to me that if the
No.
Niners can draft a guy like Brock Purdy in the later rounds, then maybe they're a good drafting team. Maybe they've sort of found something that a template that they can use
Yeah.
to draft another quarterback next year. I suggest DTR from UCLA, but I'm sure there's a guy that they know. Adam Peters is all over it. He's on the case. Do it again. Run it back. Draft another one.
Yeah.
I'm saying. And at a certain
Run it
point,
back.
again, if Brock is the guy and you want him, fine, no problem with that. Let Trey go. Let my Trey Lance go, please. He deserves to have a career somewhere too. Don't just hold him hostage and ruin. Because I feel like the longer you hold him hostage, the harder it is for him to reach his potential. You know,
Yeah,
it
I'd agree with
sucks.
that.
So
The,
do the right thing.
yeah.
Sidney Johnston says,
Also,
what?
I was just gonna say I heard you thought total was one person.
Yeah, I really messed that up. It was really embarrassing. I was like, oh, total. She's really underrated. There was like it's three people. I'm like,
T-
I should have just shut up. I should have kept my mouth shut.
Total was also a cereal too. I don't
Good
know if it
cereal.
still is, but was
Sydney says,
I,
I feel with the prayer to DeMar Hamlin recovery, the Bills are going to ball out. Your thoughts? Oh boy, that's beyond me, man. I don't know, but yeah, they
yeah, I
definitely
don't.
have something to play for.
Right. I think that everyone in the league and everyone I think in the sports world is behind DeMar Hamlin. How could you not be?